Hello! What you just saw are all the books that I am unhauling that we went through before we moved, and I promised someone that they could go through them before I gave them to anybody else. I'm like out of breath from carrying those big bags. They're heavy. But yeah, let's take a look. So these are just stacked with books. I'm not sure how many there are, but I'm gonna go through some of them. Some of them are like collections, and I might show those together just so this doesn't take forever. But I'm gonna get situated with the camera and then we will go from there. I know maybe this isn't like the best ankle, but I've got some collections like stacked here. I've got a bunch of stacks in front of me, 3 stacks in front of me, but they're big stacks. So I'm gonna go through them as quickly as possible and try to just highlight some that maybe are of more interest, like right now. Starting off with Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. This one I got with my Book of the Month subscription, but I'm just not a big vampire person. I think the hype, I was like, oh, I should try it, but the more I thought about it, the less I wanted to read it. Jojo Moyes, Someone Else's Shoes. I really liked her book, Me Before You, but I just don't see myself grabbing this one. The Book of Outcast, this is actually from a local author and comedian. I just don't see myself reading this, so hopefully going to give it to a local bookstore. I don't know why I bought this, The 5 Love Languages. It's really not anything to write home about. Mona Lisa's Smile. I enjoyed this movie and I just got the book because I liked the movie, but I'm not a huge fan of like movie poster covers on books. This is a unique one. It is part Dracula and then part Frankenstein. You just like flip them back and forth. I have a copy of Frankenstein and plan to get a copy of Dracula that's a little bit nicer. I feel like this would be good for like a student. This one I think is one of my husband's. I think it's like an inspirational like self-development book about like coaching, but yeah, don't know much about this one. Sea of Unspoken Things. I read this. It was okay, but I don't see myself reading it again and want to give it to somebody else. I've heard good things about this one. I just don't feel myself gravitating towards it, so giving it away. This one, I did not like this one. I know people love Addie LaRue, but I can talk about it more at some other point. I think I talked about it in a review, but it was just underwhelming to me, kind of disappointing. This is a book of the month that I got used, but it does not have the sleeve for it. This is The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. I did not like her book, A Lost Story, so I don't see myself wanting to read this one. Now this is actually a fantastic book, but this is a double. I bought a like collection of Aragon books from eBay for my husband for Christmas, and they just happen to have another copy of Murtagh in there, so don't need this one and going to give it away. I really enjoyed Jane Eyre, but I'm not a fan of this copy, so gonna get a better one. I don't know why I thought it would be cool to have a copy of like the first like Hardy Boys book. I mean, it is cool, but I never actually read them. I don't know, I guess like for nostalgia's sake, or if there's like value to this. If there is, I mean, let me know, but I'm sure there's someone else that would enjoy this. This is like a Brandon Sanderson middle grade. Don't know much about it, but don't see either my husband or I are reading it. I bought this one thinking it was the first of a series, but it is actually the second. So gonna give it away, and I'll try the first book on like Libby or something. Where Dreams Descend, a YA fantasy, but I just don't see myself even thinking about it being on my TBR, so giving it away. I like finding older fantasies at like library sales and things like that, and I had never heard of this one and it sounded cool, but I just don't find myself thinking about it even being on my TBR like the previous one, so giving this away. Same thing with this one, library sale, gonna give it away. Okay. Okay, this one, I have had this on my shelf like since I really got back into reading, and my husband has made fun of me because I keep putting off reading it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna read it, I just want to read in the right season and this, that, and the other, or there are more important books. I just don't think I'm ever going to read this. And if I do, I can get it from the library or something, but I'm sure there's somebody else that can enjoy this. I personally don't like this copy, just the way that it looks. It's like a large print. The Circle by Dave Eggers. I believe it deals with like AI intelligence, which kind of freaks me out a little bit, so I'm gonna give this away. These two are actually arcs. This is The Warden by Daniel M. Ford and John Scalzi's Starter Villain. I just don't see myself reading either of these. I had to read this one for a literature class, Geek Love by Catherine Dunn. This book scarred me. It was so weird. Don't recommend. I was notorious for borrowing library books. Back in the day, I am better about it now, but I used to borrow them and forget to return them to the point where they just became part of my collection. And I never even read this one, so yeah. This is the third book of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants series. I let people borrow the first two books and I never got them back, so it just feels kind of pointless not having the other two books, but I really liked this series when I was younger. This is just a textbook from a speech class. This one's way out of left field. The Philosophy of Nietzsche. I read this, referenced it for a paper when I was, I think, in high school. I don't really see myself picking this up again, and I haven't since then, and it's been a while since I graduated high school, so yeah, I'm gonna give this away. This is actually a really cool book. It's like different fashion illustrations from kind of like the late 1800s, kind of Victorian fashion going into like Edwardian fashion. I really wanted to go into fashion when I was like a senior in high school. I just thought this was really cool, but this again was another library book that I didn't return. I feel like this would make like a good like coffee table book or something, but it's just been sitting on the shelf and I just think it's time to give it away. But yeah, it's Harper's Bazaar, like Victorian fashion and costumes. Okay, so getting into some more like collections. So we've got some Harry Potter right here. These were doubles, and then some more doubles, some of the Wheel of Time. Here we go, the Wheel of Time. Game of Thrones, that was a double. These are just kind of like random older fantasy books that I don't see myself picking up. This one, it sounds good, like I like the cover, but I just don't see myself like thinking about, oh yeah, I want to read that one. This one I've heard has a lot of essay, Cushell's Dart, so I don't want to read that. And Martha Wells, like, I like her Murderbot Diaries, but I read another fantasy of hers and I just was not a fan, so I think I'm gonna skip that one and give it away. Over here we have a bunch of the great illustrated classics. I loved these as a kid, and this is a big like chunk of them. I know that there's more. We don't have kids. I don't think we're gonna read these as adults, so I think this would be good for somebody else. These are just kind of random ones of my husband's. This is like a Superman book, Marvel Comics book. This is like a mythology book, and then a couple of doubles from, I believe there's two different series. The Egyptian series and then the Roman series, I believe, from like the Percy Jackson universe. And then the mecca of collections. These are Star Wars books of my husband's. I don't really know much about any of them, but there are doubles like The Last Command. So yeah, it's just a lot of doubles that he had. He has a huge collection. Oh look, another Last Command. So yeah, he has quite a few of those. But I think that was everything. So yeah, like all these bags, all these like stacks over here. It's just a lot of books, but it feels good to kind of like cull through everything and kind of unload some dead weight, so to speak, to make room for other books. And we actually have room, I'll show you just a second. We actually have room for another shelf in this studio. So there's these two behind me, and then there's still some wall space. And then over here there's two, but we have like an Alex drawer, like IKEA Alex drawer right here. So there's potential for another bookshelf in here. I think these are just from Target. I think they were like 50 bucks when we bought them. But yeah, so we made room for books, and then we potentially might get another shelf in here as well. So we'll see what happens. But my hair got really messy. I'm like so sweaty. I apologize for the lo-fi, low-key version of this video, but yeah, that is the Unhaul. The studio is going to come together. My husband and I both use it, so it's like primarily like his kind of office workspace where he does editing. He does like videography, like he does like video game streaming and everything, and then I'm here doing my book content. So it's kind of a shared space. So we're kind of like trying to figure out what we want to do with it and trying to figure out how to decorate the rest of the house and make it all come together. So it's been a slow process. This is like our second full week in the house. So it's definitely been nice being in a new place and just feeling like we're getting a little bit more settled, but I definitely want to get things unpacked and get the books back on the shelves. But now I gotta take these off. It feels so counterintuitive to like take these out of the bags and put them up, but I wanted to just show you guys what I had. So that is everything, and I know this is a shorter video. I'm giving you guys some shorter stuff, but I will be back to hopefully more normal stuff in the coming weeks. But that is going to be it for me today. I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know what you thought of some of these books, if you've read any of them, and whether you think I should get rid of them or not. But let's chat in the comments, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!